look at this. Look at the battling, and it is a safety car. Here comes Mika into Stoke corner. Whoa! Almost. And away we go here in the Netherlands for F1 down towards the next cover. Oh, it is! Oh my god! Whoa! Bit of the season as Nano wins in Monza for FRLT Tier 1 of 4 and right beneath! Oh, he goes! Nano wins in Jeddah! Hello, and welcome to FRLT Season 5, and it is time for round number 13 of No Assist. Yes, it's round number 13, the final race of the season. Yes, it's the final race. So, that's going to be one of the interesting things. Yeah, final race of the season. Sorry guys, I was having to quickly type something. Final race of the season though. Going to be interesting. I cannot believe it's already the final race of the season. So that's it's just crazy to think about. Let's have a quick look at the track map for tonight. As you can see, it is Lusail, Qatar, 5.380 kilometers, 3.343 miles. As you see, 16 corners, absolutely brilliant. 1-1. DR Stone down that pit straight, of course. Quite a difficult circuit. We've gone from Monza to Belgium to Australia to Singapore, Las Vegas, Mexico, Hungary, Great Britain. We also went to Austria, reverse, Japan, Qatar, the Netherlands, and this week, Qatar. Looking at the standings, it's a little bit different. Looking at the standings, it's a bit different. Last week, SET claimed the championship. They're first in no assist, the first ever team to do it. OMB with a strong podium, but disappointment at the end as they nearly kept within that reach of the championship in the end, just losing out with contact and a big crash between themselves and Rosso. So officially SET and OMB are set in first and second. EVR could lose out third, but most likely won't. Most likely they will finish in third. Rosso as well, battling over that fourth with SKG. VRE on their own a bit in championship at the moment on 80 points. XPG, VMV, both in the battle over 7th in the constructors. VMV hoping to pull something big tonight. Same for TDR as well, bringing in the best drivers they've got to also push for performance. We're going to be getting ready very, very shortly. So that is going to be interesting to see how it's going to go. But we're going to get racing in the next minute or so. Hopefully about now. Everybody should be in. We should be having a full grid tonight, which is going to be great. It's great to be having, well, almost a full grid, of course, without ABE, but essentially a full grid, all 18 drivers in for tonight. I hope everybody's having an absolutely great evening, because I've got to say I am. I'm having a really great evening. So everybody's going to get readying up now. And we're going to get into the race very shortly. The final race of no assists this season, which is, it's crazy because it's not just, by the way, it isn't just the final race of no assists. It's also the final race of Season 5 altogether, by the way. It's the season's final race. So tonight we will be ending the championship and the league for Season 5. And we will then be waiting up until Season 6 then. Another season to come, and a lot of changes to also come to the league next season. A lot of new things on the way. But yeah, we are readying up now to get into tonight's qualifying session. Of course, it's an 18-minute qualifying session followed by a 29-lap race. We had Qatar, of course, in assists. Proved to be an interesting race, a race of strategy. That's what we're most likely going to see here tonight as well. So we'll have to see how that is going to do for all of the drivers, because of course it's a twisty track. Turn 1, big U-turn. Turn 2, similar, but not entirely like that. You've got to get the corner in. Turn 3 is just a kink to the right. Turn 4 and 5, hit quickly, double right-hander. Turn 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 will come together quite quickly. Then the triple right-hander. Everything very, very interesting and very, very different. So we are waiting to load in. I believe Liam has disconnected. Disappointingly, he's disconnected from the lobby. But qualifying is starting. Everybody's just choosing their ties still, so we'll get into it as soon as everybody's ready. And everybody is ready now, just as I say that this evening. And my game capture decides to be a bit stupid and doesn't switch on. Apologies, everyone. I don't know why it just went black. Just pitch black for that entire time. Unbelievable. I already see some movement in the garage. As you can see, I think that's TDR getting ready to come out first. With Tony Lose. He's on his way out already. First driver out this evening is Tony Lose. And I've got to say, it's going to be an interesting evening with him. TDR pushing for something a bit different this week. Let's see how he'll do. We know that TDR have some good qualities. They've scored 24 points this season. They scored 24 points in 12 races, 2 points per race on average. That podium back in Hungary being their peak of 16 points in a single race. That's higher than some teams have scored in a single race this season. But for TDR, it's been a bit of a miserable season, stuck in that 9th in the Constructors. They've just kind of sat in 9th for sort of 60% of the season now. They've just been 9th in the championship for sort of 60-70% of the season. Of course, there's just now a 7-point gap to VMV in 8th, so their chance comes this week to take that 8th in the Constructors. They can still reach XPG in 7th. So realistically, points-wise, if TDR put it together and pull everything they have, they could ultimately finish the championship on 7th in the Constructors. Of course, last season, I believe they finished 9th last season. If they raced, I can't remember for the life of me. But Tony Los is about to start his lap. Let's ride on board with the TDR driver as we head down towards turn 1. Down this pit straight, as you can see, moving out to the right-hand side. Throwing the car in to turn 1. Trying to get the car turned in. Lots of understeer there for Tony through turn 2 as well. You can see a lot of understeer. That car is just not really... It's really fighting against Tony here. Now, into turn 4. Huge amounts of understeer, and he invalidates as well. So that is his... that's his go over and done with. And the next driver who's going to be starting the lap is Nicholas Boiter. Nicholas Boiter put in a decent race last time round. Put in a pretty decent race. Not his best, but it was only, I believe, P11 at the end of the evening. But it was still a finish nonetheless. Some teams didn't even get both of their drivers to finish. But Nicholas Boiter making his way round, pushing. You could see the difference. You could see the difference in a car that's cooperating and a car that isn't. Even off-board, you could just see there. The car's much more obedient. Let's see how Nicholas Boiter heads in. That's sort of what you expect. That we saw with the Haas, just not really doing that. Out of Sector 1, it's going to be a 29.860 for the first sector. Bit of understeer. Lots of understeer. Mid-corner through the hairpin. Throwing it through this section. It comes very quickly, this section. This looks quite long, this little bit of flat-out section, but it's actually incredibly short. As you throw it into the hairpin, you see, again, being maybe a little bit indecisive there from Nicholas. As you can see, he's just kind of correcting his steering a bit. Heading through the triple right-hander, through the second part, into the final corner of the triple right-hander. Now, into the penultimate corner. You've got to get this corner right for track limits. And Nicholas Boiter does. Now, heading up towards the final corner now, through the final corner and towards the finish line. And across the line, it's going to be a 1 minute 21.148 to start the evening. And that's not a bad way to start the evening, I've got to say. Definitely not a bad way. Then we have Salva Olmedo making his way around for OMB. I think OMB looking to maybe close out their season with a victory. Close out a very good season. 206 points. Only 39 points behind the championship leaders at the end of the season. Salva Olmedo across the line. He goes to a 1 minute 20.539. Incredible that Manolo can't beat that. He can only go to a 21.8. Theo goes to a 21.555, so he can't do it either. David heading up to the line. He goes to a 21.4. It's not the best of runs for himself either, so it's not been perfect so far. As we see Kevin Zunneberg goes to 20.5 as well, matching Salva Olmedo. Very good, as we also saw Invert go third, and Speedy, his teammate, goes fourth. Willian went to a 21.0 on the dot, and Alex Osanez goes to a 1 minute 20.518 and onto provisional pole 1-2 for OMB at the moment. Maybe it's to be that race back in Qatar. They were 1-2 in qualifying, but did not win that race. didn't even finish 1-2 in the end. And this week, maybe hoping for a 1-2 finish. Maybe just claim that, get that little bit closer to SET at the end of the season. Right at the end, just bring themselves a little bit, make themselves look like they were a bit more in contention into the final race. I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. As Raphael makes his way into the pits, Tony's going slowly around. He's only done a 22.3, by the way, so he hasn't done a great first lap at all. Najas is just on his lap. Finn Becker has been validated on his lap. Myth is on a lap at the moment. We've got some slow drivers, I think. We've got Kevin, who's going very slowly. Much getting in the way of the SET drivers. And there goes, I think that was Inver. No, that wasn't. That was Speedy who jumps in front. He's got to be careful with that. Could get reported for overtaking in that manner. So he's got to be very careful. So if that's the thing that all drivers always need to be careful about, is that they don't break the rules. That's getting quite close. Najas only with a 30.1, so he's about 0.3 off of I think he's 0.3 off of not Salva Almeida. He's 0.3 off of Nicholas Boiter, so he's a bit further behind. But Najas making his way round into this final sector. The final sector being one of the longest sectors as well, but the highest for average speed on the entire track, by the way. So it's a very interesting final sector. Almost all of the corners are high speed, except the final corner, which counts as medium speed. Actually, which is quite interesting. Hello, Malk. Welcome. As there goes Najas behind his teammate into a 21.7. Knew it wasn't going to be the best of laps. Myth went P4 as well, by the way, with his lap. So very, very strong lap from himself. The SET duo being a little bit off of the pace, but they're right there still in contention. Almost 0.2 off the pace, but still right there. It's incredibly close at the moment. Manolo currently on an out lap. We can also see Bolton Boy on his way on an out lap. LMB is serving a qualifying ban for this evening after VRE didn't have one driver turn up. So there's a suffering qualifying ban, which means they will at least start at the moment 16th on the grid. But most likely will finish 18th at the end of qualifying. So at the moment, it's not looking great for VRE though. P10 and P16 in qualifying. Of course, with that qualifying ban, but still P10, nowhere close to where we're used to seeing. Still nowhere close to where we're used to seeing. VRE, usually they get up into that top 5. No Haquin Vigley this week. So, because there's no Haquin, that means, of course, the man who took pole last week in the Netherlands, not there for VRE this week. So their star driver, not there for tonight's race. So we're seeing two other drivers taking over the reins of their cars tonight. Manolo making his way around. See a little bit of lagging from him, but he's making his way around quite nicely. And it's a 30.1. You can see quite a bit of lagging coming from him. You see there's a lot of lag coming from Manolo at the moment. He's really got lots of lag. I'm not sure if I'm getting this with other drivers. I don't seem to be getting this with other drivers, so I believe that is just him, connection problems. But he's up by 0.4 per second, which will take him to about P10 at the moment. So he will hop up into that top 10, jumping ahead of David Kupzik for VRE. You see, Haas has just stopped on track there. But heading around the final corner, Manolo heading up the line. Let's see what he's going to do when he crosses line. He only improves by 86 thousandths. He lost a lot of time in his run. And Bob Boy also invalidates his lap. Looking to the next driver, Alex and Salva have both invalidated their laps in the first sector. Kevin's heading around the first sector. He's down in his lap. Inver is in the first sector. Misha's just ended the first sector. Williams just started his lap. We can see there's Nicholas. Lots of drivers quite close to each other. The first one in line is going to be Theo, up by 0.2 of a second at the moment. Send them up into P10. What VMV want? They want another point, at least to end their season with another point. That's kind of, that's what all teams want. They all want to end their season with a point. And especially VMV. They really want to finish their season with a point. And across the line, he improved by 0.3 of a second. He goes to P10. Narrowly missing out on a position just behind us. Kevin has invalidated his lap. As we look to Nicholas Boyter to cross the line. He goes to P8. Misha's coming up to the line next. Misha goes fastest of all by 0.003 of a second to a 1 minute 20.515. And Finn Becker goes even faster to a 1 minute 20.395. Finding even more time. Speedy goes P2, going into a 20.4. So time being found for himself. Raphael is, I think, going on to another lap. As William Boyter goes to P7 as well, to a 20.5. Look at how close this grid is. P3 is on a 20.5 and going all the way down to P7. It's incredibly close here tonight when it comes down to qualifying. That's the way we like qualifying to be. You can see Najas is on his outlap. He seems to be on a bit of a different strategy, same as Myth, when it comes down to the timing of his runs. Salvador Mido, is he on a fast lap? I don't think so. Don't believe he is. So let's watch with Najas as he makes his way round through his lap. Let's see, can he improve? He's currently P13. He needs to find half a second to get in front of his teammates. So he's got to find a lot of time. He's already improved by a 10th, almost a 10th and a half in that first sector. So very, very strong from Najas in the first sector. And now heading to the end of that middle sector, up by 1/4 of a second now. Still not enough time. They're only going to send him to a 21.4. Only going to send him to a 21.4 at the moment, so he's not finding that time that he needs. He needs to find even more time in his lap. He really needs to find more time in his lap right now. And across the line, he finds 0.4, but stays P13 and just misses out on P12. We've got to look to Myth. Myth is down by almost 0.3 of a second in his middle sector, so he's not been able to find any time so far. So Myth is struggling as well as he now pulls into the pits. We've now got to look to Raphael. He's also invalidated. So everybody at the moment is not on a fast lap at all. And the first driver to come out for their final runs in this session is Tony Los, the same man who started off qualifying this evening as well in that very majestic black, white and pink looking arse. Very majestic from himself. I've got to say, this evening's going to be interesting to see sort of how TDR do. It looks, sadly, I'm afraid to say, it looks like a very usual weekend. A very usual race weekend, I should say, for Tony Los and for Raphael Tringler. And for TDR as a team, sitting at the back of the grid currently, 2 spaces off the back. If LMB and Bourbon Boy will qualify, then most likely, as we know, would be in front at the end of qualifying based on their track record. And so TDR would be qualifying on the back row. They remind me of the 2019 Williams. They just, not in a mean way. I want to point this out, not in a mean way. But when it comes down to sort of qualifying at the back and sort of finishing at the back of the grid, it's been quite common. Yes, they scored 24 points this season, which is pretty decent, 2 points per race up to round 12. But for TDR, they need a bit more. So let's ride on board with Tony Los on his final run here in qualifying for round number 13 of FRLT No Assists in Qatar. Heading down towards turn 1. You throw the car in trying to get it turned in there. It's not exactly handling well for the TDR driver through turn 2. Again, the car looks very difficult to drive for Tony Los. It does not look like it's agreeing at all. You can see again, the car's just, he's got a lot of understeer at high speed and just isn't working well at all. 30.5, that's way off for the times. We know Tony is in a 22.3 at the moment, so he's really struggling with the car. So he's kind of second guessing himself on the steering. You can see that quite a lot. He's second guessing, he's correcting his steering, I should say. And a bit of a lock up there and a bit too deep. And again, you're just seeing that TDR car very much the same what looked like for Raphael as well, just not really working. And Tony is up by almost 0.4 of a second, so he is finding quite a bit of time. He will find it into 21, into 1 minute 21, getting close to his teammate as he has invalidated that. It's Tony Los' qualifying over and done with for tonight, and that's going to be disappointment there for himself. We've got to look to the next car. The next car being somebody. Nicholas Boyter's invalidated his lap, so I think he'll get one more run out of his session. Finn Becker is on his outlap. Born Boy is on his outlap as well. I think we've got Speedy coming round. We've got David Kupzik coming round as well. There's Misha. There's Raphael. We've got a lot of drivers just crossing the line now. Nicholas Boyter crossing the line as well. We've got Manolo crossing the line. We've got Myth to cross the line now. And then Najus finally. Everybody's on laps now in this session. Kevin Zunneberg to head up to line. He's up by almost 0.3 of a second in his middle sector and across the line. Kevin Zunneberg goes fastest of all to a 20.1. Alex O'Shaughnessy can't beat that. He only goes P4 at the end of qualifying there. We got to look to Inver. Inver crossed the line. He doesn't improve. He'll stay P9 at the end of qualifying. There goes William. He stays P7 as well. And that is that for William, Inver, Kevin Zunneberg and Alex O'Shaughnessy for the moment. But we got to look to the next car. It's going to be Salva Olmedo. He's invalidated. OMB's perfect qualifying comes to an end. And that's disappointment. Tony Los is coming into the pits now. Now we've got to look to Finn Becker. Is he going to beat that time? No, he's not. He's going to stay in P2 and stay on the front row. There goes Born Boy. He stays P17 at the end. Speedy makes his way onto the front row of the grid. There goes David Kupzik. He stays P11 in the end. And that is that for him. Not a lot of changes across the grid. I think we just saw Theo go into P11. Improvement there. Manolo goes P13. So a strong lap for himself. Myth can't improve. He improved by 62 thousandths, but he can't improve his position. And there goes Nate just to P12. And David will be down to P13 in this qualifying session. It's only Kevin and Alex O'Shaughnessy to make their way back to the pits. And that is your man on pole, Kevin Zunneberg. EBR back on pole. And that is a sight to see and an incredibly close qualifying. What an end to qualifying. Gotta say, what an end. But not the best of ends for SCT. P2 and P9. I know they've wrapped up the championship, but you know that's not the way they currently want it to be. Over 0.3 between the teammates at the moment. So, bit of a gap for SCT to close down on. Finn Becker nearly taking pole. SKG nearly getting a pole position. Another pole position this season would only be their second. They're really pushing for the big points. They're on for a podium. For the first time since round 4, I believe. So it would be a long time since their last podium. But let's go through the order of the grid. It's Kevin Zunneberg on pole, followed by Speedy, Finn Becker, Alex O'Shaughnessy, Misha, Salva Olmedo, William Boyter, Myth, Inver, Nicholas Boyter, Theo, Najus, David Kupzik, Manolo, Raphael, Tony Los, Born Boy, and LMB with his qualifying ban. But what a qualifying it was at the end of the evening. What a qualifying. Absolutely crazy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Qualifying session there. Incredibly close. From start to finish, it was really close between all of the drivers. I've got to say, it was fantastic to see from all of the drivers and from all the teams. Very close qualifying in the end. I mean, the fact that most of the grid was split by about 5 tenths of a second. The fact that over half the grid was split by that is absolutely crazy to see how close it was. So, in the end, very interesting in the end. So in the end, incredibly interesting to see. Do I think that... I think in that qualifying, there was probably 4 teams in for pole. OMB, definitely. I think, of course, EVR, SET, SKG. I think OMB were in there as well for a chance at pole. I think those 4 teams were very much the ones chasing pole. So that's always difficult, I think it's a very close qualifying. But now for the race, please tell me your predictions for the race in the chat. Please do. But yeah, we're going to be getting onto the final race in the next about 2 minutes. 2 minutes time, we'll be going on to the final race of the season here in Qatar. It is, for me, I will say, it is a bit sad to say that this is the final race, the final 29 laps of Season 5 No Assists. And to be honest, this has been one of the best, probably the best and closest season, I think, in terms of pace gap from front to back of the grid that I think we've ever seen. I don't think we've ever had a closer season when it comes down in any tier, when it comes down to gap between front to back of the grid. I don't think we've ever seen that, to be honest. So I think it's very difficult. But we're going to be getting ready in the next minute for the final race of Season 5. Not just of No Assist, but of Season 5 altogether. That's the scariest thing, is it's the final race of Season 5 altogether. And, like I said, I'm sad. Say goodbye to the season, because it has been such an incredible season. Nonetheless, but we always aim for better. It's the next season. Let's see whether we'll get even better racing. But the start lights, I can hear them. We're about to get going for round number 13. And here we are. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here in Qatar for FRLT No Assist Season number 5, round number 13. And it is the final race of the season, the finale. Kevin Zunderberg has been jumped off the start. Oh! Contact further back. Look at that. Drivers going absolutely everywhere as they battle through the pack. You see LMB making his way up the order slowly. You can see David Kubzik also battling in that mid-pack. A great start for OMB as they make their way up to P3 and P4. William Boyter as well, up a couple of places. Finn Becker's dropped back as well. You can see Misha has had an absolutely awful start as he got hindered by Finn Becker getting half spun. We also saw that for Inver as well. He also suffered the same problem, but Theo as well, battling over P7 for position around the outside. He's trying to make that move. Unable to make that move. Can he make the switch back? Will he be able to make the switch back? No, he's not going to be able to. He's going to have to sit behind and wait in P8 for now. And that is a good start for VMV. It's exactly what they need to secure their 8th in the championship. It's exactly what they needed. David Kubzik is round. He's gone round. He's spun. And that is disappointment for VRE. Another weekend of spin. That's 3 races in a row. Haquin getting spun back in Qatar. And Haquin getting spun in the Netherlands and spinning by himself as well. And David Kubzik has gone and done it in Qatar. Oh, it's been a bit of a hellish few weeks for VRE. And now heading down into turn 1. Look at this battling between Kevin Zunneberg and Salvador Almeida over P2 here. And I think Salvador Almeida has just made out that place as OMB charge for the lead of tonight's race. Let's bring up all of the on-track stats that we can. You see tyres-wise, hard tyres for some, mediums as well. Looks like it's roughly about equal for mediums and hard tyre runners. So very, very close for that. Very good start for some. Up 5 places for Born Boy and up 4 for Salvador Almeida. We're going to start to see the tyre differences come in as, of course, Speedy is on the hard tyres. Salvador Almeida is on mediums. Kevin Zunneberg is on the hards. Hards, mediums, mediums, hards, mediums, mediums, and hards. So a very mixed grid from start to finish. So quite an interesting one there. It's been a bit of a slow start for VRE. Only up to P16 and P18. It's worse than where they started, and it's proving to be an incredibly rough weekend. Are we even going to see VRE achieve points this evening, or are they going to finish their first race without points? Only a few teams in FRLT history have gone 100% with points in any tier. AMS have it in assists, 46 races or 45 races. There goes Salvador Almeida, by the way, for the lead of the race. And an absolutely brilliant move made by the OMB driver, and an absolutely top of the class move. We did miss it, but we're not going to miss Misha's move as he makes his way past Theo for P8, and that's another good move for EVR, pushing his way back up through the order for Misha this race. And that's good after that bit of a tricky start. And with his teammate kind of putting a car right in his way. You can see Misha making his way round as he follows the group. But now he has the 2 SKG drivers of Finn, Becker and Myth in front of him. You can see SKG pushing. They're pushing to get their place on 4th in the Constructors ahead of Rosso. Season-long championship battle between the two that's lasted quite a while. Both have struggled, but Rosso at the moment have the upper hand. Currently scoring 10 points compared to just 12. David Kubzik gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Theo as well gets a penalty. We've seen quite a few Najus as well. And Tony Lose in this race. Multiple drivers getting the same problems. Track limits always going to be a problem around this track as Salvador Almeida sets the fast lap of the race. But here comes Speedy chasing behind Kevin Zunneberg, just dropping outside of a second. Just for a moment there behind Speedy, but it's Salvador Almeida versus Speedy at the moment for the lead of this race and for the final win of the season. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how the teams are going to fare up in this battle. Currently 3 teams are in the top 3 at the moment, and it is the top 3 in the Constructors' Championship. As a reminder, by the way, for who's on the top 3, it's very much been a similar season. Manolo gets a 3-second time penalty as well, so another penalty. Tony Lose gets another 3-second time penalty in this race. Time penalty's been thrown out absolutely everywhere, at every single driver, but it's been, so far, a decently calm start, and I think the carnage is just relaxing a little bit. But a good start for William Boyton. It's the start that he needed. He needed to get in front of SKG this race. And he's done that as LMB gets a 3-second time penalty as well in this race, so more disappointment heading the way of VRE, and the chances of points reducing even more. It is absolutely disappointing to see a team that was pushing to potentially finish in the top 5 in the constructors. It's like they're going to be sitting down in 6th at the end of the season. But we can see the battle for the lead is about to heat up once again as we make our way down towards turn 1. Has Salvo Almeida just been able to stay in the lead? Yes, he has. And that's a driver that's round. That's Tony Los that's actually gone round at the final corner. And Darva Kupsik gets in front of him. So there's going to be a bit of a battle over last place now. Who's going to finish there? But you see the grid getting a little bit closer again. All of the top 7 within a second of each other. Misha's just dropped outside of that second as Tony Los gets another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So it's happening again. TDR not getting away with a great evening, but it's not been a bad evening for Raphael. He's up to P14 with the penalties in front. He'll be up to P11, by the way, by the end of this race. So he's actually looking like he's on for an alright race and for TDR to get another decent finish to their season. But yeah, it's a very interesting race because even though this race does not promote the best of overtakes, what it does promote is the best of strategy, and that's what we're looking for. You know, that's one of the biggest and hardest parts of sim racing and in F1 in real life and of all racing is that strategy. And for the front teams and for all of the teams across the whole grid, strategy is going to be a big one for them. But one driver I want to just bring our eyes over to is LMB at the moment. From 18th to 16th in this race. He's only up 2 places since the start of the race. And it comes down to 2 drivers spinning as well. So he's not really made up a lot of ground. And he's just being absolutely dunked on the straight there. He's just not really getting anywhere. At the moment, LMB just not really able to keep up with the pack. He's just about sitting in that gap. But with that penalty, he's not going to get far. He could get up to about P13 if he gains another 3 places over Theo, Manolo, and Najus by the end of the race. But it's all going to come down to gaps, and he's just not really been able to be in the fight so far. So maybe we'll see in the next couple of laps. You might see LMB start to make up some ground and start to push harder. Start to make up a couple of positions. Rafael Tringler now gets a 3-second time penalty. That's another bit of help. Oh, taking that corner quite sharply there. You can see the car being a bit unpredictable for the VRE driver. But Salvo Almeida continues to lead. But look at this. Speedy. Closer than ever. Maybe those medium tyres are starting to wear off a little bit in this race. Maybe they are starting to wear off just that little bit. So heading down the pit straight now. He's going to be using everything he's got. Here comes Speedy with the DRS, with the speed, moving out to that right-hand side and past. He goes, he gets past Salvo Almeida for P1 and the lead of the race as the hard tyres start to become the more optimal tyre, I should say. Tony Los gets another 3-second time penalty in this race. Born Boy, by the way, making his way past Manolo. And we've got some battling further back over P15 between Nicholas Boyce and Rafael Tringler for position at the moment. You can see a lot of battling going on for position. And you see Nicholas Boyce trying to make up a couple of places here. So, yeah. Moving on. I had a bit of a moment where I spaced out. Apologies, everyone. I don't know what I was up to. My brain just stopped working. But Speedy leads away. He's been able to fend off Salvo Almeida down that pit straight onto lap 8 as well. Onto lap 8 of the race. And there goes Najus for P11 as well as he goes past Bordenboy. Of course, penalties though. Applying those penalties means he will lose that place once again. But an interesting race going on, nonetheless. Very interesting race going The gap's building. Drivers being a bit more careful. Finn Becker now gets a 3-second time penalty. That's going to drop him down to P9 in this race. So SKG might not be coming away with that 4th in the championship that they had been hoping for all season long. They've been hoping for something a bit different, but they might not get it this weekend. David Kupzik gets another 3-second time penalty as he's down in 17th, just kind of on his own, floating in this race. You see, one driver that's been incredibly quiet is Alex O'Shannes, as he now gets a 3-second time penalty. Just as I say that, commentator's curve right on the spot. He's been very quiet this race. Theo gets another 3-second time penalty as well. Tons of penalties flooding in this race. Manolo as well. But Alex O'Shannes, very quiet so far, up to P4. He's kind of been sitting here for a while. As there goes Kevin Zunneberg past Salvador Almeida for position, and a swap between Alex O'Shannes and Salvador Almeida. Of course, Salvador Almeida on those medium tyres. They've worn off. They're not as quick now. Najus getting past Theo for P11 as well. So a bit of help coming from the teammates. Oh! And that is Manolo. He's round. Manolo down and round. And that's not helped his day at all. Born Boy as well came into the pits. So XPG not having the best of days. LMB up to P14 chasing Rafael Tringler for position. Is there going to be a move into the hairpin? Are we going to see it? Big dive down the inside? No, we're not. Just a bit too far back there for a dive bomb. It would be just a little bit too risky, I think, at this point in the race. But LMB's trying everything he can to get past Rafael Tringler to get up to P13 in tonight's race. To be challenging a bit more because the gap has now opened up. P10. That second half of the grid back to the top 9, who are all on their own slightly in this race. Speeding out with over a second lead in tonight's race. I've got to say, that's incredible as we're about to just go on to lap number 10 of the race. Nobody's retired. It's the first time, by the way, in no assist this season, if I'm remembering correctly, that nobody has retired by lap 10. As there goes Myth on William Boyton, and there goes Inver on Misha for P8 in this race. There goes LMB. He's finally making that move. Manolo speeds in the pit lane, and now he is retired from the race. And again, for the second time this evening, the commentator's curse kicks in. And there goes Manolo from the race as he now retires and leaves his teammate to be the only driver out of the track for XPG. But LMB up to P13 now as he chases the points in tonight's race. Look at this. Kevin Zunneberg, he's gotten within a second. He's sitting on that second barrier at the moment. But again, it seems to be EVR straight line speed. Again this week, EVR seem to be the ones strongest with the straight line speed. Not strongest in cornering, as you can see in this final sector, and definitely not the strongest when it comes down to cornering. But straight line speed does seem to be the thing that EVR have been best at this season in both assists and no assists. So that's something for them to think about. Rafael Tringler gets another 3-second time penalty as William Boyter now goes into the pits. Let's ride on board with William Boyter as he makes his way into the pits. Let's see, what is he going to be changing for? As you can see, the pit lane is actually quite long. You've got to go quite a while. And now, onto the hard tyres goes William Boyter. Now, heading out of the pits. He goes back out onto track. Now, David Kupzik, I think, is just going to get out in front of William Boyter as well. Down to P14 he goes. He was up in P5. Or P6 for a moment. So that's definitely something. But look at this side by side between William Boyter and Theo, as now Tony Lose also retires from the race. Down the inside. Whoa! Theo gets very close there. Very close to the back of Nicholas Boyter. This race is definitely heating up a bit more as the pit stops start to arrive. The big question is, when is Speedy going to come in for his pit stop? Because Kevin Zunneberg has now caught up a lot closer. He's about a second closer than the biggest gap was in this race. So, are we going to see Speedy hold on to the lead, or is he going to come in early and try to do the undercut? What are we going to see from SET here, strategy-wise? Because still, a lot of drivers are keeping up still with top 3, all in DRS, all keeping close. As we can see, Salvador Mido and Finn Becker and Misha all into the pits. A lot of drivers heading into the pits now. So now Finn Becker makes his way in as he changes his tyres. And we can look to Misha as well as he changes his tyres. And look at Theo. Theo in the pits and on his way out onto the hard tyres. So a lot of changes. A lot of changes going on at the moment. And Ferrari have found themselves up into the top 10 in this race now. P8 and P9. 5 points. That's actually the same positions that they finished in their first ever race. No assists. Speedy making his way round though. As he makes his way round for, once again, going round that hairpin for the 12th time in tonight's race. He's still got to do it another 17 times before the race is over. So a long way to go for Speedy. Yet to make his first stop in this race. On to lap 13 we go. 16 laps left of the race to go. And there goes Kevin Zunneberg down the inside. For the first time since lap 1, Kevin Zunneberg returns to the lead of the race, I do believe. And a great move that was. Late down the straight. But that's all he needed in the end. As we can see as well, further back, William Boyt has caught up to the back of David Kupzik. And he goes going past. There goes Salvador Mido at the same time. Both drivers getting past with ease. David Kupzik not really battling that at all. Whoa, big swing from Finn Becker. Not expecting the McLaren to be so slow. Pushing him down the straight. Here comes Finn Becker making his move. Whoa! And a big moment for David Kupzik. Big moment indeed. Kevin Zunneberg, Raphael Tringler with another 3-second time penalty. Racking up the penalties in this race. Half the grid. Half the grid now have penalties, by the way. Almost half the grid, so it's looking very, very close when it comes down to penalties. So we'll have to see post-race as well, post-race penalties. This is all before post-race penalties kick in. So you've got to remember that until post-race penalties kick in, the final results are not final just yet. Kevin Zunneberg! A mistake indeed for the race leader. A 3-second time penalty for Kevin Zunneberg. And a massive slide as well to add to it. Ah, disappointment. Utter disappointment for Kevin Zunneberg. He was hoping he could take the victory here tonight, but it looks like he'll be finishing P3 as it stands. As we say about Kevin, Misha also picks up his own penalty as well in this race, adding to the pain for EVR this evening. Just adding to that pain. Just does not help at all. Doesn't help at all. But I've got to say, Myth is in quite an extraordinary position. Because he's P4. In SKG. He's going to finish P2. And at the moment, Ross are on for just 8 points. So he'll take 8 points over them. A reminder, the gap was 24 points. Just a reminder, the gap was 24 points. So at the moment, it's going to be 8 points gained in the championship for SKG, bringing that down from 26. So it's from 24 down to 16 points. So they just need another 17 points to lead the constructors to take fourth in the constructors championship. That's all they need tonight. It's really all they need. But he's got to make up these places and possibly even take the victory, take those extra 2 points at the end of the race ahead of Speedy, get SKG their second victory of Season 5, add on another victory to the list of trophies, champions of assists, champions of fours. And they look like they could even be taking us another win to end out the season in Qatar. But my big question is, when are these leaders going to come in for their stops? When are they going to come in? What are we going to see from them? What are we going to see? How well are they going to perform this evening? Misha has just set the fast lap of the race to a 23.390. Which is over 3 seconds slower, by the way, than pole. As David Kupzik now pulls into pits. He goes onto the medium tyres on his way out for the rest of the race, going those 13 laps on the mediums. Goes down to last in tonight's race behind Raphael Tringler. But still, there's still a long way in this race to go. So I think if drivers or teams lose hope, I think it's disappointing to see, because there's still so long to go. It's only lap 16. We're about to go into lap 17 of 29. Still 12 more laps to go this race. And let's be honest, that's a long time. 12 more laps. Still many pit stops to be done by many drivers. A lot still to happen. So do not count any of these drivers out. Raphael Tringler gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings once again. Najas has had a moment. He spun. No, he hasn't. He's gotten a puncture. Najas receives the first puncture of the evening. David Kupzik gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And now Najas' chances disappear with a puncture. And he's also got a roller wrong, slightly slower as well in the pit lane. And it's going to take longer as well in the pit stop. We're going to see as they try to get that tyre off. There we go. Good pit stop from V&V. Red Bull garage and that Red Bull car proving to have the Red Bull pit crew as well. Raphael Tringler retires from the race. And that means TDR suffer a double DNF to end their season. And they will end their season on 24 points. The first constructor to be confirmed to finish their championship points. AB as well, so 2 teams now confirmed to finish with 7 points and 24. Many other teams could still change their season at the moment. Speedy now comes into the pits. He's pulling the trigger first. I think he's noticed that puncture for Najas, and I don't think he really wants to risk a puncture at all. Don't think he's wanting to risk it. And onto the medium tyres he goes till the end of the race. So he's going to get 11 laps on those medium tyres. But where is he going to come out in the rest of the pack? Where is he going to come out? Because I think he's going to come out behind these 3 as he drops down to P9 in this race. Misha, though, still a bit too far behind in the end. But he has fallen behind Salvador Almeida, William Boyter and Finn Becker. So, for our championship leaders, even though they have wrapped up the championship, still, they're chasing that win. Theo gets another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So, the race are not going their way, particularly at the end of their season. They don't look like they're going to be on for points this race, which is quite disappointing. I will say it's very disappointing to see that they're not going to be on for points at the moment. So, That is, of course, a very tough one, taking into account. And now, Kevin Zunneberg and Alex Ashanes comes into the pits for their pit stop. Same as Inver as well. So all of them coming in. Where are they going to come out? How are their pit stops going to go? And in the end, Kevin Zunneberg gets held behind Alex Ashanes. He doesn't get the perfect getaway that he needed. And how much time have they lost? They've lost quite a bit of time in the end during the pit stops. And they come out in P7 and P6. But they're very far behind. They're over 2 seconds behind Speedy. So in the end, that's really worked out for Speedy. And that's exactly what he was looking for. As Kevin Zunneberg with another 3-second time penalty to his race, which pretty much rules out any chance of winning the race tonight. And Najas with another penalty. Myth now into the pits as well. Let's see. How much time has Myth lost in the pits? Because I've noticed that he actually did a decent lap there. Actually did a decent lap in the end. So how much time has he lost? Theo gets another 3-second time penalty. He's come out behind, all the way behind everyone in the end. Not behind Misha and Inver, but behind Kevin Zunneberg. So now there are 6 drivers in the battle for the lead of the race. With penalties, only Speedy, William Boiter. William Boiter is the one that stands out to me. P4 at the moment. He could finish, ultimately, P2. He's set to finish on the podium as it stands. But he's just got to keep up his pace. There goes Speedy for P2 as well as he gets ahead of Finn Becker. But that looks like a podium for Rosso at the end of their season. And securing their 4th in the Constructors. It's what they want. But, oh, there goes William. He's just dropping through the order. All the way down to P6. He's clearly made a mistake. There's a problem on that Sauber. There seems to be a bit of a problem. Because look at how quickly Myth is catching up as well. He's caught up by a few tenths. But let's have a quick look at the tyres while we're at it. Misha gets a 3-second time penalty. Tyres. Mixed, mediums and hards. You can see a couple of drivers on 8, 9 lap old hard tyres. Bolton Boy on 11 lap old hard tyres. But this race is proving to be very interesting. And look at this. Battle for the lead going on. Kevin Zunneberg gets past Alex Ashanes as well. But Salvo, Medio and Speedy are going to go racing. They're going to go racing very, very soon. See Speedy all over the back of... There we go. Speedy all over the back of Salvo Olmedo. You can see it's getting very, very toasty for the race lead. But you can see still that those fresh mediums just look so much more. They just got so much more pace behind them. Alex Ashanes with a 3-second penalty. Again, another 3-second time penalty. Again in this race. Kevin Zunneberg, by the way, up to P3. And that means he is going to be racing for a podium. So at least EVR will end their season with another podium in no assists. Salvo Almeida making his way round. It looks like Speedy's going to get him down this next straight and down the pit straight, going on to lap 22. Another lap led by ONB this season. I will be putting together the stats for laps led by everyone. There goes Speedy around the outside. Has he got the grip? Yes, he has. And that's a move made Alex O'Shanna's as well, battling with Finn Becker, over position. Inver as well, gets past Misha for P8 in this race. But Myth is also catching up to his teammates and the leading group. He's already set to get to P3 with penalties, so the penalties in front. So that's going to be a good note for him. Kevin Zunneberg battling here with Salvador Almeida as he goes up to P2 now, as he gets ahead of the OMB driver. And Salvador Almeida allows Alex O'Shanna's just to get past with ease. Team orders coming in there. And a lot of teamwork. Theo gets another 3-second time penalty in this race. If we actually have a look, penalties-wise, 15 seconds for Theo, which means he will drop behind LMB at the end of the race. He will drop behind LMB. So that's going to be a tough hit for Theo in the end. So it is going to be a bit of a disappointing one. But we'll have to see. LMB gets another 3-second time penalty to add on to his weekend. But you can see the race, the chase for Myth as well. As Finn Becker lets his teammate pass for P10, for P5. As Misha now retires from the race as well. Misha now retires. And that's another retirement for EVR this season. This season's not been great when it comes down to retirements. Indeed. And Darla Kupzik as well with another 3-second time penalty. Making his way around, Myth though is chasing for a podium at the moment. So there's a chance. But it's proving to be a difficult one for some teams this evening. But there goes Myth on Salvador Almeida for P4. That's another position gained for the SKG driver. That's another position up and more points for SKG this evening, especially against Rosso. It's all they need. They just need these few more points. So it's proven to be a very interesting race towards the end of tonight. And there goes LMB for P10 in this race. And there goes Theo. He goes with a bit of a moment there. Puncture, and now, not a puncture, sorry, but disappointing weekend as he now drops down to P13. Most likely we'll see another retirement this evening. 5th retirement. But the final 5 laps are upon us. Final 6 laps, I should say. Very soon to be the final 5 laps. We're just about to go into the final 5 laps. I'm trying to find my words for a minute there. On to the final 5 laps of Season 5 of FRLT. Who is going to win here tonight? Because Myth is still in for a chance. He's gaining by huge amounts because Kevin Zunneberg is still fighting back. He's still giving a bit of a battle there. Finn Becker gets past Salvador Almeida for position. But Myth we've just got to talk about Myth here. He's just catching tenths out of every single corner. Look at that, 3 tenths in 2 corners. He's found into the double right hand. Look at this, he's within a second. He's brought it down to being within a second. Myth is so incredibly fast. We might be seeing SKG win here tonight. And I'm going to say that was not on my cards at all for tonight for who I thought was going to win. I did not think we were going to see Myth win, as now Theo does retire. VMV suffer another retirement this season. Disappointment there for VMV to end off their season like that. Always disappointing for any team. I'm always disappointed for any team to finish their season with double DNF or even just one DNF, you know, or no points, you know. You always hope for the best for every team. But we could see William Boyter, he's trying to catch up to the two in front, but he's not going to be able to catch Finn Becker. But Myth has caught up to the back of Alex O'Shanez, Speedy, and Kevin Zunneberg for position. And you can see Speedy's trying to get on with it and we can see a battle for the lead. Kevin Zunneberg around the outside. An absolute beautiful defense from the EVR driver. I've got to say, that has got to go down as one of the best defensive moves I've seen this season. Genuinely, one of the best defensive moves I've seen all season long. Alex O'Shanez, though, sitting right there. You can see he's still trying to get that position. He's still trying to get Kevin Zunneberg if he makes a mistake. We've gone on board with Alex O'Shanez a couple of times this evening. We're going on board with him once again as the laps are just counting down towards the end of this race. Alex O'Shanez with another 3-second time penalty. That's going to hurt him even more. Looking at the penalty-wise, he's got 12 seconds of penalties. LMB gets another 3-second time penalty in this race as well. But he's got 12 seconds, which means he will drop down, far down the order to about P8 by my account. He'll drop down to P8, P9 actually he'll drop down to. So we'll have to see who actually is going to finish in 4th in the championship. We're going to have to wait and see. And there goes Myth anyway. You can see him in the mirrors. There goes Myth for P3. He's closing in on Speedy. Speedy getting a bit worried now that the RB is all behind him with 3 laps to go in this race. Myth has been making moves every which way. And he's perfectly preserved his tyres for this final few laps, for this final push to the season. 3 laps remain of Season 5, and even though I am sad to see Season 5 come to a close, I've got to say I am just incredibly happy and absolutely energized by this race and by this entire season. From start to finish, it has been close. Every team has had a chance to win. Every team has had a chance to fight for the championship, and they have all done it in their own way. William Boyter gets a 3-second time penalty as well. That's not going to help his evening. That's really going to do the reverse of that. That's really going to hurt his evening in the end. But Myth chasing after the lead of tonight's race. A chance to win. Finn Becker with another 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help SKG. But these next 2 positions will. 5 points are on the table here for Myth. There goes Speedy. He's trying to get past. He's trying to get past Kevin Zunneberg, but he's not able to. And you can just see Myth still sitting in here. Look at this! All over the back of the Williams. All over the back of the SCT driver. Is he going to go for the move into the double right-hander? Is he going to go for it? No, he's not. Is he setting it up for the hairpin? We know Myth hasn't been too good just throughout this middle sector. We know he loses time to Speedy through the middle sector. Oh! Contact between Alex O'Shanez and Myth. Has that just ruined his chances at winning tonight? The gap is now 9/10. He's got to close that in 2 laps. He hasn't got long. That's about a lap and a half now. And you can see he's bringing the gap back down, but he's pushing. And I think if he does not win tonight, I think we're going to see a very angry SKG driver. Now he's gone off track there. And I think he's going to be blaming Alex O'Shanez all the way for him losing this victory tonight right now. But look at it. He's pushing all the way he can through this final sector to hook back onto that DRS to push once again. Is he? Has he made it within that 1 second? I don't know yet. But we're going to be going on to the final lap of Season 5 of not only No Assist, but of Season 5 altogether. Kevin Zunneberg leads on to lap 29. We most likely going to see him lead this entire final lap. And does EVR get the last laugh of leading the final lap of the season? And now heading through this first sector, through the first 3 corners. It's not gone too badly. Now heading through towards the end of Sector 1. Only after this first sector, only 2 sectors remain of the season, and I cannot believe I'm saying that the season is about to come to an end after everything we have been through this season, from crashes to disappointments to the highs and lows of SimRacing and of FRLT. We're about to see this all come to an end for the season, and we'll be taking that short break before Season 6. But you can see Kevin Zunneberg pushing all the way he can through this final sector. He's doing everything he can. He's doing everything right. Myth gets a 3-second time penalty in the end. And through the final corner, Kevin Zunneberg will lead across the line. He might not win, but he will cross the line to finish Season 5. And it will be Speedy who wins in Season 5 of FRLT No Assist round number 13 in Qatar, and the finale of the season. But championship-wise, I don't know who is in front when it comes down to 4th in the championship, because Rosso have only taken 5 points versus the 7 for Finn Becker and the 16. I don't know who's actually got in this championship. I don't know. So, absolutely an incredible end to the season. I think we've only got 2 drivers left across the line. That's David Kupzik and Bourbon Boy. And that is that for Season 5 of No Assist and of Season 5 altogether. I don't have many words for that, to be honest. I don't have many words at all. But, massive congratulations to SET on winning another race, by the way. And the most races in a row, and the most races in a season. I just want to point that out. SET have won the most races in a single season here in No Assists by anyone. They've won the most races in a row and the most races in a singular season, which is just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Just a record run that they've had like this, that I don't know what to say about record runs like they've had. Let's go through the order. Speedy wins from the front row, then Myth, followed by Salvo Romido, Kevin Zunneberg, Inver, Finn Becker, Alex O'Shanez, William Boiter, Nicholas Boiter, LMB, Born Boy, Nasius, David, and then the retirements being Theo, Misha, Raphael, Tony, and Manolo. And with that, it's the end of the season. With that, absolute carnage. Absolute carnage, but absolute whopping season. Just brilliant. Just brilliant from everyone. I really couldn't have asked for too much more from this week. But I just want to point out something, as I said about for the record. Before this race, SET had won 5 races in a row. That means they've won a 6th race in a row, which means, by the way, 6 races in a row is the equivalent for the most wins in a single season, set by AMS and FG in Season 1 and Season 2 of Assists, which means they also won in round 6, which means they have won, officially as it stands, 7 races this season. A record-breaking 7 races. I genuinely have no words for that, if I'm being entirely honest. Yeah, absolutely incredible season. I don't know what to say. But yeah, with that, guys, that is the end of FRLT Season 5. Thank you guys so much for watching this entire season and for all the support everyone shows here, from the channel to Twitter to absolutely everywhere. Thank you so much. And I guess it comes down to one final time to say this. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to leave a like. Also click on that notification bell to know about all the shorts I'm going to be doing. And streams and everything about next season. Also make sure to follow us on Twitter at FRLT1, as you see up in the top left corner. Also big thanks to our affiliates, the VRE shop, and the lovely people at Motorsport Connect. And with that, thank you guys so much. I hope you have an absolutely brilliant time. And I will see you very soon for Season 6. Goodbye. Look at this! Look at the mounting, and it is a safety car! Here comes Mika into Stoke Corner. Whoa! Almost! And away we go here in the Netherlands. Got F down towards the next cover. Oh, it is! Oh my god! Whoa!